I've wanted to do a Billie Holiday show for a long time. In the last few years, a really important part of my work has been just doing songbook shows, because it takes the pressure off. It doesn't mean that I'm not creating original material. I am still. The Hideaway approached me about 7 years ago now and asked me to do songbook shows with them. And I thought, well, this is a fulfillment of a childhood dream, really. Watching the musicals on Thursday night on BBC Two with my mother and dreaming about cabaret.
Yeah.
And it's funny because at the beginning of my career, when I was considered an indie soul kid, I remember people saying, yes, but he speaks to the audience as a bit cabaret. I was like, well, what's wrong with that? And now I think that that's been, rewarded by the fates. I'm now in a situation where I can create great cabaret.
So you've got a music and word show. So it's the music of Billie Holiday and the story of Billie Holiday's life, but also you're adding bits in between the songs.
The show's called Billie Holiday Live at Carnegie Hall. The next one that we're doing is April 20th at the Hideaway, and then we're doing it in Glasgow in June and Bristol in October. But it's the story of a night where she was promoting her Lady Sings the Blues book for the first time.
And what a fascinating artist as well. She died so young, at the age of, 44?
Yes, 44.
So sad. But
she lived every minute. The thing about that night was that it was the first time that anybody had ever heard her autobiography, which was ghostwritten by a guy called William Duffy from the New York Post. And she had another guy stepping into the spotlight in between songs to read extracts from the biography. So we sort of do that. We tell the story and sing all the songs from the set with a few additions.
You worked at the Hideaway before?
I've worked at the Hideaway. I've done Prince, Bowie, Bond, Dusty, Shirley, and George Michael.
Oh, okay. Have you performed Billie's songs though in other form, or is this the first time you've done it as a show?
No, because if you're a bloke, I've tried to get on Billy Bills. You know, when London Jazz Festival, Chichester Jazz Festival, I contacted all these people, said, can I be on your Billy bill? And they've turned me down because I'm a man.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I guess that's people wanting to put people in categories though, isn't it? It's that kind of old-fashioned ideal as that you've got to perform men's songs, which is like madness.
It's like the man that got away versus the gal that got away.
yeah. But it makes it unique to you, doesn't it? Because you're doing something that maybe other people haven't done before.
I really didn't want it to be. There was one time when I felt quite militant about it, and I wanted to do a show of men singing Billie Holiday covers.
That's a great idea.
But then, maybe it's possible that there are a lot of guys who would think a bit too gay for me. Right. I can't really stand up there and sing My Man, which I'm quite happy to do.
So Lady Sings the Blues was the movie that Diana Ross starred in.
Yes.
I think it was the early 70s, wasn't it? 1972. Were you inspired by that movie? Did you always love that when you were younger?
No, I didn't see Lady Sings the Blues until last summer for the first time. And I think it's very cute Hollywoodization. I mean, what I saw was an arena documentary from the 1980s.
Oh, right.
Called
So a bit more
Long
real.
Night of Lady Day.
Yeah.
And that was when I got it, because there was definitely a period in my life when I was much younger when I didn't realise that you had to have lived to actually appreciate what some vocalists were doing. So there was a time when the idea of a Neil Young or a Van Morrison or an Al Green or a Billie Holiday was like, what is that? That's not singing, is it?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't beautiful to hear to my ears.
Could you relate?
I lived a bit and shagged a bit and had my heart broken a bit, and something was like,
You could relate to it.
Yeah.
So as an artist, when you watch documentaries, especially the more gritty documentaries, can you get more out of that than say something that's glossed over, that's a bit more Hollywood, when you see something that's quite commercial?
Well,
I guess it's, you can get both, can't you? You can enjoy both types of movie.
Well, I couldn't really tell from Diana Ross's performance as Billie whether she really was being Diana Ross whilst playing Billie, or whether she'd really invested much in what Billie did. And certainly my approach has been to listen very keenly to what Billie does, and as much as possible use the notes that she used. I mean, the timing, forget it. I mean, that's why she's Billie Holiday and I'm David McAlmont, because her timing is immaculate and unmatched. It's the idea of treating the Billie Holiday songs as new compositions of something original, and trying to approximate the notes as much as possible. It's not an impersonation, but it's done with that degree of focus and love, really.